No, we are not doing rack pulls. If your goal is powerlifting and to bring up your max deadlift, you need to hit the block pulls, and we're gonna head over here, right here. So can block pulls help your regular deadlift? Do Russians like vodka? Hell yes, they can help your deadlift. Okay, so now let's talk about a little bit how they can help your deadlift, okay? And look at some specific instances. So, why would we use a block pull instead of a rack pull? I mean, you always old school guy, you know, old school is my favorite school, but sometimes we gotta evolve a little bit. And this is more of a micro evolution than a macro evolution for all you scientists watching. But anyways, the reason we would choose a block deadlift over a rack pull is simply a block deadlift flexes the same way as a deadlift does off the ground, because you still have to pull the slack out of a block deadlift like you do a deadlift off the floor. So this teaches you to initiate the heavy weight the same way you would with a barbell off the floor. Okay, so most of you are here to, you know, you might be doing it to impress your favorite disco bunny at the gym or win the damn powerlifting contest. I don't care why, but I'm gonna give you the tickets of when it works for you, okay? So for these deadlifts, basically the rack deadlifts are gonna be anywhere from about 1 to 6 inches. So when we go to more like 6 inches, it's gonna be closer to what you would, it's gonna be more for your top end strength. Lower is gonna be more towards your mid-range strength. You start going above 6 inches, a lot of times it becomes a bastardized quarter squat. Say, you know, you get it way up here and do, you know, kind of like get it stuck on your thighs and just kind of quarter squat way up. It may be okay for like Instagram followers, but it ain't gonna cut the mustard for your competition deadlift, okay? So here's, you know, so rack deadlifts offer a multitude of benefits. Of course, the first and foremost is overload. Okay, so just think about, you know, if you can lift more weight, there's a number of benefits there. It's just getting used to heavy weight, you know, with training your grip, assuming you're not using straps. It's always gonna be, your grip's gonna improve, okay? You can't initiate the load as much with your legs, so you're gonna overload your back musculature. So even if you don't wanna just, you know, improve your competition deadlift, you wanna, you know, look good for spring break at Panama City, the stage, be it the bodybuilding or Chippendales, whatever, you know, you want to, this is going to give you that back muscular overload, okay? The other way it can sort of overload is, you know, with partial repetitions, can potentially be inhibition of the Golgi tendon organ, and we're not going to get way into that. It's a whole other conversation, we'll have another time, but that's one of the physiological reasons, and we all know that psychology trumps physiology, and you will have a psychological boost when you get picked up more weight than you can off the ground. So how heavy is a 500-pound deadlift when you've picked 585 off the blocks? Not as heavy. Okay, so here's some other instances on how these block pulls can help you. Okay, so with explosive deadlifters, they help you a ton. Okay, so think back in 2004, I was getting ready for a strongman competition, closing on an 800-pound deadlift in powerlifting. However, I'd never done any kind of block pull. So one of the strongman contests I was going to, the weight was elevated 3 inches off the floor. So I couldn't actually lift as much weight off of blocks as I could off the floor. And it's like, I was expecting to go in there the first time and knock out 800 and then progressively ramp it up from there. That was not the case. 705 was glued to the floor. Okay, really weird. But I was a very explosive deadlifter, and I've noticed with other explosive deadlifters, they can't pull as much off of blocks initially. So for these kind of guys, anywhere from like 1 to 4 inches, generally it's about a 3 or 4 inch block, it makes it harder. You can't, like, since you can't get that leg drive into it as well, it's like harder to pull, it's harder to generate that initial speed off the floor. So for these type of explosive deadlifters, it's almost like a dead bench. So that can be very helpful for these type of deadlifters, and for anybody to initiate a pull by getting really tight that way, okay? And then for positioning, a lot of people can't actually get down to the right position. They're not strong enough, not mobile enough, whatever, to get in a good starting position in the deadlift. So with rack pulls, you say you start off 4 inches off the ground, you can progressively work towards the floor, old school progressive distance training. Henceforth, you have yourself a stronger deadlift that way in the right position. So these block pulls can benefit you. And remember, if you want to get better at the floor deadlift, you need to pull off of blocks, not out of the rack.